Hey, Ashley. Awesome. Susan Brennan. Hey, okay, I'm going to put this on gallery view here. Just want to see who's joining us. Give everyone a chance to join. Hey, everyone. So excited.
Hi, Amy.
Hey, Laura, how are you?
Doing pretty good.
Beautiful faces. Oh, so excited. I'm also on Facebook Live here, so I'm just saying hello to everyone on Facebook Live as well. And hey, Ellie. Hey, Sophia. Hey, Lisa. I see Gerald, Shauna, Mayumi, Paul, Adeline, Karen. So yeah, we're just gonna give everyone a chance. And if you got any background noise, if you can go ahead and mute yourself, that would be great.
Yeah.
Hey, Gabby. Rebecca Steele. Woo woo. Awesome. Hey, Sally.
Oh, good. Sally's there.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh, I'm so excited to see all your faces. This is so exciting. Fantastic. Natalie. Hey, Natalie. I see Evren. Oh, this is so fantastic. How's everyone doing today? You guys feeling good? Yes? Put a thumbs up. Fantastic. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I know people are still jumping on, and I want to be respectful of your time. So thank you so much for joining me for my Permission to Dream Bigger workshop. And I thought that I'd start off with just kind of talking about Zoom. And for those of you who know me, you know that I'm super transparent. And like part of my enjoyment and excitement for doing this is to really become familiar with Zoom on a whole new level, where I'm just like really ready to make a bigger impact, invite people to these types of calls, and know that this is how we can really connect on a deeper level. So if you're just now joining us, welcome. And if you have background noise, go ahead and mute yourself out. If you have questions on anything, then you'll see a chat button at the bottom of the screen. So I'm just going to do a quick little, hey everyone, let's see here. Oh, of course, okay. I was like, it's not working, that'd be great. So you'll see that there's a chat button. So I'd love for us, let's just all use this as a chance to just, whether or not you're familiar with Zoom, I'd love for you to just type in and just say, hey, I'm here, and tell me where you're from. So we can just play around with the chat button. So I see Sonia. Hey, Amy, can't believe I'm here. You look beautiful. Oh, thank you, Sonia. Oh, I'm getting some private messages here too. Love the mermaid. Yes, this is my mermaid. She brings me lots of abundance and joy and happiness. Lisa from Menifee. Am I saying that right? Susan says, hi, everyone from San Diego. Ellie from Bothell. Adeline from Indianapolis. Oh, this is so fun. Sally from London. Yes, hello, Sally. Sonia. Okay, Sonia, so when you're messaging, it looks like you're messaging me privately, and you said, hi, everyone. So just notice when you're sending a message, you can click on everyone or to me privately or somebody else in the group. Ashley, Ellie and Max World Traveler. Shauna says from Snohomish. Quay from LA. Oh my goodness, this is so fun. Woohoo, I'm so excited. Okay, fantastic. Wow, Anita from Cape Town, South Africa. We've got an international group here. This is so fantastic. Okay, so let's see here. What else? Okay, so basically what I decided to do with our workshop today is to really allow ourselves to come together in this really fun way. How many of you have used Zoom before? Put up a 1 if you've used Zoom, just so I can get an idea. Okay, great. I know that some of you are calling in or you don't have your videos on. It's totally fine if you don't want to have your video on. If you are open to it, of course, I'd love to see your faces. And just know it's not about perfection. I mean, I definitely wanted to glam up a little bit for my workshop here today, but for those of you who are my private coaching clients, you know, when we get on Skype calls and Zoom calls, I'm super casual, so it's all good. Okay, so I thought I would just, first of all, take a moment and send you all such huge gratitude for being here. You know, I always think of these types of experiences as an opportunity to connect, not just with me, but with one another. And I'm so passionate about the work that I do because I know that all of you have a bigger dream and vision for yourself. And I believe that one of my purposes and my passions is to be here to breathe life into not only my own vision and dream, but to all of yours, you know? And so just being here tells me that you are really excited about living into that bigger dream. So if that's the case, then go ahead, show me a 1. I want to see who's got a bigger dream for yourself. Show me a 1. Yes, yes. Okay. Is everyone, can everyone hear me okay? If so, put up a 1. Okay. Is anyone not able to hear me? Raise your hand. Okay, awesome, awesome. Just want to make sure everything's all good. And so I'm just going to do a little centering here. So why doesn't everyone take a deep breath with me? So we can ground ourselves. Another deep breath in and out. And let's just allow ourselves to be so present. I know some of you are driving. I see Megan, I see a driving wheel here, so be safe. And this is our chance to let go of anything that is on our mind, like in terms of any stress, any other to-dos that are on your list today. This is our chance to be present. By being here, you're showing me that you've given yourself the gift of time, the gift of honoring yourself, of honoring a bigger calling and a bigger vision. And oftentimes in this day and age, we are so connected to our cell phones and technology and distractions. So even though we are using a form of technology here today, it's in order to bring us together to be so present and honor that deeper calling within you. So I invite you to give yourself permission to let go of distractions, because this is your time. It's not about me. It's about each and every one of you. And when you can honor your vision and your bigger dream on the deepest level and really lean into that and live into it, that's when the magic happens. That's when the magic happens. When you can look back on even a day in your life and say, today mattered, you know? Today mattered and everything I did mattered. So thank you for doing some grounding here with me. And I thought I would start by sharing with you a story, because I know that some of you know me, some of you have never met me before. Some of us are connected on Facebook, but we've never met in person. Some of you are in my Coaching Masters Academy this year, which is my 12-month group coaching program. I'm so happy to see your faces. And so you definitely have spent some time with me this year. Seeing some friends, some team members, so I'm just so thrilled. And I wanted to just take you on a journey with me, and some of you may have heard this story, but back in 2011, my phone started blowing up, okay? So it was just like people were calling me, and I was getting text messages. It was like spring of 2010. I was like, what is going on? This is crazy. And what had happened was Oprah made an announcement that she was hosting an audition to win your own talk show on her new network at the time, right? The OWN network. And because back in college, many years before that, I had said to people when they would ask me, like, Amy, what are you going to do with your life? And honestly, I had no idea. I was like, I don't know. I really don't know. So I needed to have an answer. So I would always jokingly say, well, isn't it obvious? I'm going to be host of the Amy Yamada show. And because I thought that would be really fun to have my own talk show. And it was half serious, half a joke. And honestly, I had no idea what I was going to do. So fast forward to 2011 or 2010. And as it turned out, Oprah was hosting this audition. So all my friends from college and anyone who knew that I'd ever even spoken those words of, I'm going to host my own show, they're like, Amy, this is your chance, you know? So I thought, why not? Why not? And I went onto Oprah.com. I downloaded the application, this really lengthy application. And what I needed to do was to create a video, which at that time I'd never done any video. So I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to figure it out. And within about 48 hours, I had connected with a woman who had a photography studio, a videographer. Like, it was amazing to see the support around me to say, yes, we will help you out. And I recorded this video. I'm sure it lives online somewhere and it's terrible, but but I just went for it because I had a vision and a dream, and I thought, why not just go for it? And what happened after that was so beautiful. the next 5 to 6 weeks, so here I am, I've loaded my video onto Oprah.com, sent in the application, it got approved to be one of many that were on her site. It was actually brilliant on her part in terms of driving traffic to her website. She had all these people. And for the next 5 to 6 weeks, every single day, I would wake up and say to myself, okay, what can I do today to further myself along towards this vision? Because I had 5 to 6 weeks in order to drive as much traffic to my audition, to vote for me, to vote for my video, to become a finalist to win my own show on Oprah's network. I mean, this is like super exciting, right? This is what dreams are made of, right? And I used everything that I learned from my 15 plus years in the media. I was like, I'm going to reach out to my connections. I'm going to promote. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to host events. And it wasn't that I had everything planned out ahead of time. There was no time. Like life is now. Life was now at the time, right? So it was such an exciting ride. And, I got all sorts of feedback at the beginning. There were the supporters that were like, go Amy, you can totally do this. It's going to be amazing. There were others who were like, you're going to be the next Oprah and I'm going to be your Gail, And then there were those who were like, who does she think she is? I mean, really? Does she think she can do that? And none of it mattered. Like, it was lovely to have the support, and I was okay with the people who were questioning me and not believing. And what happened was, ultimately, I ended up in the top 4% nationally. I was not selected as a finalist, but what I learned in that experience was so beautiful, and I realized several things. One is that if you have a dream that is bigger than yourself, then the time is now. Like every single day is an opportunity to connect within your dream and take steps towards your vision. And not just steps that are kind of sort of in line with your vision, but what can I do today? What can I do today that's going to help me get there? Even if it's a baby step, right? The other thing that I learned was that deep connection matters. When you can connect with yourself and your vision and your audience or your circle of influence, then people will rally around you because they can see that you have such a clear and defined vision and dream for yourself, that those that are there with you, that see you as the shining light that you are, will be there to help you out. So you don't have to do it alone. And even though I wasn't selected as a finalist, all these doors opened. I mean, I was getting phone calls from big, huge fundraiser event planners in the greater Seattle area. So for those of you who don't know where I live, I'm in the greater Seattle area. And I was emceeing massive events, which led to me meeting many more people, which led me to emceeing Metropolitan Fashion Week every year. And I mean, it's just, do you see how just one decision to just go for it and play full out led to so many beautiful things? And it all came down to one thing: the power of deep connection. So I'm excited to have all of you here today. And again, if you haven't met me, my name is Amy Yamada, and I coach entrepreneurs who are, coaches and service-based entrepreneurs. And really at the core of it, I help them deeply connect with themselves, their vision, and their audience so that they can make the biggest impact and also earn the income that they've always wanted. So who's excited about getting closer to your dream today? I want to see a 1. Go ahead and put a 1 up. Awesome. Okay, I'm just going to see who else here. It's so fun to see your faces. Oh my goodness, it's so great. Okay, so on that note, when it comes to deep connection, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and put this on speaker view here. When it comes to deep connection, it's to me, it's beyond business. I know a lot of you may know me from the entrepreneurial space, and that I really do geek out on business. I love business. And I also think of deep connection as something that not only affects your business, but it affects every relationship in your life, and it affects every element of your life. Because when you have that deep connection with yourself and your vision and others, that's when the magic happens. And it also affects how you attract clients. So I know there's a lot of you who are entrepreneurs on here. So again, put up a 1 if you're an entrepreneur or wanting to become an entrepreneur. I want to see my entrepreneurs here. Okay, awesome. So if you're an entrepreneur, then deep connection can also affect how you attract clients. It can affect how to even know what to sell. If some of you are still figuring out what to sell, or really hone in on what is my signature offering, or what is the service or the product or program I want to offer. And it can also affect how you have an effective enrollment conversation, or otherwise known as a sales conversation. And I know that working with hundreds of coaches and service-based entrepreneurs, one of the things that I see come up a lot is the fear and the resistance around valuing ourselves and really allowing ourselves to even present an offering that has, I don't know, money attached to it, right? So this is another opportunity to see how when you can really dig deep and connect in with your vision and connect in with yourself and find that light within you where you can say, I am enough exactly as I am today. And I have what it takes. Like, I really do have what it takes to make a difference in this world. Then the energy you put out there in the world will also speak into that, right? It'll share with people what it is that you're up to, so you can be that beautiful source of inspiration and influence and have the ripple effect that those of us who are purpose-driven want to have in this world. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do some exercises. Like, this isn't just the Amy Yamada show. I'm just going to be talking your ear off all day, even though those of you who know me know that I'm very capable, especially Susan Brennan. I know that you know that I am a talker, and it's not about that. So I'm going to take you through some really fun exercises, because what I would love to invite you in to do today is to allow yourself and give yourself permission to dream bigger. So even if you've had a vision for yourself that you're excited about, I believe there's a whole other level that maybe you haven't even tapped into yet. And, you know, for any of you who have ever gone through any kind of a leadership training or a visualization, like a guided visualization, or you've connected in with people who are really playing a bigger game, not just to generate money in their business, but to make a massive difference in this world, then maybe you've had those experiences where you've visualized what that could look like for you. Okay. So I just want to, before I keep going, I would love to have just a couple of you share. Like, I just want to hear a few of your voices. So who would be willing to just share your name, where you're from, and the number one reason that you're here on this call? So go ahead and raise your hand. Don't be shy. I know. I just saw somebody. Let's see here. Sally.
Okay, can you hear me? I've just
Yes.
Hello, everybody. I'm in London, so I'm like in the dark, you know, it's evening. I connected because I've just made a massive decision to move to Ibiza, which is a little groovy island off Spain. And it's totally attached to the bigger vision that I've always had for my life. And I've felt like it's dropping into the groove, if you like, partly because something that happened between you and me, Amy, and you got me to think much bigger with what I was doing with my own coaching. And suddenly it was like, click, you know, something happened. Yeah. And that led me to have a series of events that have happened in a very short period of time, to have the confidence to go, you know what, I'm leaving London. And I'm so excited. I'm like a kid again. It's like I get up thinking I can live by the ocean. I don't know, so much is possible. So it's quite linked, the entrepreneurial side of it, but actually it's directly hit me personally. And I'm just, yay.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you, Sally, for sharing, and thank you for being here. It's super exciting for me to hear. Okay, let's hear from another person. So raise your hand if you'd like to share. Okay, Megan Davies, I just saw your note here. So if you can unmute yourself. Hey, Megan. Or I can unmute you. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, there you are.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, new to Zoom, just trying to figure out how it all works. Yeah, I'm here today as I have declared recently that I would find clients in 2 weeks. 3 clients, and I'm currently on track for that, and I'm just continuing to surround myself with good energy and connection and the abundance mindset that comes from rubbing shoulders with people who have a similar vision and are wanting greater things for themselves.
Awesome. And I just, I always like to let people know if there's like some kind of connection here. So, so Megan is actually my most amazing personal chef, and she's a health coach. And So sometimes she'll come into my home and suddenly all these delicious aromas that are healthy and organic and wonderful just happen. So I think here, it's just good to see your face. And
Thank you.
I just still
Thanks
believe
for
in
doing
it.
this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, how about one more? Go ahead and raise your hand. Alora, why don't you go and share? Let me, okay, unmute, yes.
I'm here to get refocused and inspired, and definitely have a vision of, I was on your Facebook. Was it yesterday or the day before? Time, and you were doing the business plan for 90 days.
Yeah.
And so, I was making my notes and seeing, what is my vision for how many clients? And I think it was 20,000 in revenue, or 30,000. I'd have to take a look at my notes for sort of signing people into a 12-month coaching program. So I'm following up today to get even more inspired to do that.
That is so great. And I think you said 30,000. So
30,000 in dollars. Oh yes, I think I did. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, great. Well, thank you, ladies, for sharing. And okay, so I would love to invite all of you to, if you're able to sit down in a relaxed position and put your feet firmly on the floor and close your eyes. Unless you're driving, then do not close your eyes. Eliminate distractions. Just trust. Let go of anything that is feeling stressful or constricted in your body. I invite you again to take a deep breath in. Hold it. And out. Again, a deep breath in. Hold. And out through your mouth. And keeping your eyes closed, just notice how you're feeling in your body. From the top of the head, all the way down through your feet. And just notice if there's any part of you that feels uncomfortable or stressed out. If it's in your shoulders, and just move your shoulders around. Shake it out, shake it out. If you're feeling constricted in your voice, in your throat, just take another deep breath. Take it down to your heart. If you're feeling pain in your heart, just allow yourself to feel the love that's in this virtual workshop. And take another deep breath in into your heart. And exhale. And all the way down to your midsection that sometimes we're not so kind about referencing. And just know you're perfect exactly as you are. This is your core. This is your power. Breathe into that. And just think about all the gratitude that you get to have about your body and being here in this present state. And all the way down into your arms and your legs and all the way down into your feet. And just honor exactly where you are right now. You're here for a reason. And you are on this beautiful workshop for a reason, because you know that deep down inside, you have a calling that has been a part of you since before you were born. You came into this world. Your soul came into this world, whatever your belief system is, your soul, your spirit, your personality, your character came into this world for a reason. And throughout your life, there have been experiences and people in your life that all have served a purpose. Every single experience every single painful part of your journey, every single part of your joys, every single piece of it has led you to this moment today. And it's moments like this that we give ourselves permission to be so present and dig deep within ourselves and drop into our hearts and ask ourselves one question. What is my deeper calling? Am I connected in with it? Have I forgotten? Have I ever discovered it in the first place? What is it? Have I allowed myself time and space to really align with my purpose? Or have I gotten caught up in all the other stuff that really isn't important? Have I allowed myself to have someone tell me at some point in my life that I can't do it? Or have I gotten caught up in being a people pleaser or a perfectionist, or so focused on my limiting beliefs that I've lost track of who I am and what I came here to do? What is it? And maybe you are already living into it. Maybe you're feeling awakened already into what your purpose is and what your dream is, and you're ready to take it to the next level. Just think about it for a moment. Now, some of you have heard me share this before, but there are 7.4 billion people on this planet right now. And in most of our lives, for all of us, we will only meet less than 10,000 of them. That is a tiny fraction of the entire world's population. A tiny fraction. So when you know that you can connect in with yourself and your bigger calling, your vision, your purpose, your dream, and that you can take that to the next level and connect with those beautiful 10,000 souls that are here to connect in with you, and allow that power of deep connection to have the ripple effect that you are meant to have in this world, then those of us who have chosen to be purpose-driven can stand shoulder to shoulder and be the love and the compassion and the change that we want to see in this world. So let's tap into that today. And as you keep your eyes closed, let's take another deep breath in and out. And in again. And out. And keeping your eyes closed, I invite you to go on a journey. And think about, if I could have any dream vision come to fruition in my life, what would that look like? And let go of any limitations or thinking about, I need to know how I'm going to get there, or who am I to think that I can do this? Let that go. And instead, just allow yourself to visualize, what is it that you really, really, really want? What is it? And if you're still feeling fuzzy, then I ask you, what do you know for sure? What do you want your daily life to look like? In fact, let's go to the perfect day in your dream life. So imagine yourself, your eyes are closed, and you can keep your eyes closed throughout this visualization. And in this visualization, you're actually living your dream life. So you're waking up in maybe a beautiful home somewhere, or maybe you're traveling. So you're in this space and you can look around you, and what do you see? What does your bedroom look like? Or are you sleeping under the stars somewhere? Just allow yourself to visualize, what does that look like? Is there someone next to you? Maybe you're right next to the love of your life. And as you step out of your bed in this beautiful, peaceful oasis of a setting, whatever it may be, get to think about your morning and what does that morning look like? Maybe you're someone who likes to get started with something, active, or maybe you like to have a slower morning where you grab some coffee or tea. Maybe you started off with a meditation. Maybe you want to do some yoga. Whatever it is, it's your dream life. It's your dream day. And as you move into your morning, and maybe you have breakfast with some loved ones, or maybe you're on your own, just move into your day and think about, what does that morning look like? What does that perfect day look like? And as you go further along into your day, who are you surrounded with? What are the activities that you participate in throughout the day? Are you working from home? Are you working at all? Are you going into some beautiful location? Or maybe you're a coach and you like to do your coaching calls while you're walking on the beach. Maybe you're a speaker and you want to see yourself speaking on big stages, and maybe part of your day is practicing for that big moment when you get to make an impact on a live audience. Maybe you're a creative sort. Maybe you're an artist or a performer. Whatever it is, what does that day look like? How many hours of your day are you focusing on serving others with your gift? And as you go throughout your day, think about like when you are heading back to what you consider your home base. Oh my gosh, how embarrassing. Sorry about that. And make sure that doesn't happen again. And as you come back to your evening, where are you? What does that look like? How do you like to round out your day? And as you come back to where you decide to, put your head on your pillow and you look back on your day, how do you feel? How peaceful do you feel inside because you are now living your dream life? And maybe every day is different. Maybe you get to experience different things throughout each day, and maybe you travel, or maybe you are working with children, or maybe the elderly. It doesn't matter. It's just whatever your dream is, you get to honor it. So go ahead and take a deep breath in and out, and in again and out. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Come back to life. And once again, I always like to use this as an opportunity to connect. So and let's keep it somewhat brief because we have some other things to cover today. But I'd love somebody who hasn't spoken yet to share just some of the highlights of what that perfect day looked like for you. So, and remember, when you speak into it, that's when this beautiful life actually has a more likelihood to come to fruition. So who would like to be the brave soul to share? Go ahead and raise your hand. Susan Brennan.
Hi, you guys.
Hey.
That was beautiful. Like, I don't know if you can see, I'm pretty happy right now. Hi, you guys. I see a lot of familiar faces on here. I just got to experience like an amazing, perfect start to my day. I woke up relaxed without an alarm clock, and the sun is rising. I'm next to the love of my life. There may or may not be a couple dogs and cats snuggling with us, or at least in the room. It was just a beautiful morning. We both got to get up and start our day, healthy breakfast, good workout, and then just sink into our day of purpose. and spend the whole afternoon working together from home and really knowing that we're making a difference with people, and then get to have a fun evening with friends. And I could go into all the amazing details that were coming to me as far as, the color of the trees and the beautiful flowers we were walking by. And just thanks for the experience of walking through that, because you guys, it's really powerful to really, really allow yourself to go there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. I was just right there with you as you're sharing the image. It's like, oh my gosh, yes. And of course, I happen to know Susan. I just love her. Animals are definitely a part of your picture. Susan loves like when Susan goes for a walk, she'll say hi to like every animal before she can, like, she can't go on with the walk. Like if there's a dog, I say every animal, like we're walking all types of animals, but I'm sure if we were, that would be
squirrels.
Squirrels,
we're all there.
Yeah, awesome. Susan, thank you for sharing. Who else would like to share? I know sometimes it's we get a little nervous about sharing, but this is where, again, you're in such a safe place. So who would like to share?
Can I offer one quick thing?
Yes.
To people who are resisting, you guys, this is the power of every time you share, you're inspiring other people to be courageous in that way too, because it is like every group you're ever a part of, when you ask a question or you share something, there's someone else who's having that same thought and that same feeling, and you sharing opens the space for them to also step into that dream. So you stepping towards your vision and your dream is really helping other people do the same. So even if you're shy and hesitant to share for yourself, do it for other people.
Yeah, and I saw, so I'm going to have Sonia. Sonia, buena Torre. Hey, Sonia.
Hi. So yeah, thank you, Amy. That was lovely. And I want to share. I'm not going to go into the details. We don't have the time for it. But what I want to share is, it's ultimately really about the feeling that we experience when we are in that perfect day or feeling. And one for me, and I know this already, and to a certain extent I live it, but not as big, is really that feeling of being so internally free and content and fulfilled, knowing that what you do is just what you love to do, and it's in alignment with your soul and with what you want to do. And what I always see again and again, what's important to me is that feeling of freedom and spaciousness also in the outside for me, like this beautiful house on the beach and all that. But the end of the day, when I went into the bed with this beautiful man next to me that I love, I also, the feeling of just love and fulfillment and knowing of being in purpose, that's just very beautiful.
Love it. And I'm also happy to see your house behind you, because for those who don't know Sonia, she lives on the Turks and Caicos Island, and she was sharing her updates as she was experiencing, Hurricane Irma. And it was, Sonia, you really inspired me. I get like a little teary. She, as the hurricane was coming her way, she actually posted a video where she and this other woman were at the gym, like the local gym, where no one was there, because I'm sure people were scared and nervous and preparing. And even though she was prepared, she was dancing. And I was just so blown away by you, Sonia. I was like, I actually shared her video because I thought, we can't control what Mother Nature does, but we can certainly do our best to, be in this calm, energetic space. And Sonia, you just represented that so beautifully. And instead of being in a state of panic, she connected within and got together with a group of people. And they were at this a hotel that was Hurricane 5 proof, and they led a Facebook Live meditation that I felt from where I was sitting. And I know some of you on this call were there too. So I just want to acknowledge you, Sonia, because I know that was a scary experience, and the way that you showed up, I believe, had an effect on so many people. So thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
It's incredible. I believe that Rebecca, did you raise your hand as well to share? Go ahead and unmute yourself where I can.
Yeah, thank you very much, Amy. That meditation is exactly, I think, just speaks to my heart, and it's something that allows me to connect to that bigger vision, and that's why I guess I don't guess, I know that that's why I'm in your coaching academy, because you dream the bigger vision as well. And I I I guess the thing here is now to when I was going through that meditation with you, I find that what I'm looking at is a really big picture where there is so much disturbance around us as well as joys. And if I feel that I'm called upon to be, if for want of a better word, a way of explaining this, holding the space so that people can be themselves with no judgment on how they should be, who they should be, but still living the purpose that they have for that part of their journey. And knowing that there is love coming at them. I don't know what that looks like, but I know that that's where I'm heading.
Fantastic. And just really briefly, Gina, for some reason your screen is being shared, so I'm not sure. So if you can, unshare it. This is where I don't
know how to do that. I'm trying to figure that out.
Okay. Yeah. So Rebecca, sorry to interrupt you, but I want to make sure that
I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. This is, the beauty of live Zoom experiences. We're all good.
Stop share. That's probably it.
Stop share. Okay.
Yay. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So Rebecca, sorry, what was your final thought that you shared on that?
Yeah. Just quickly, I saw Laura post something. Where am I from? I'm based. Sorry, I didn't say that. I'm based in Cheltenham in the UK, which is sort of in the Midlands, close to the Midlands, a beautiful part of the Cotswolds, where there are lots of trees, lots of walking trails, and I've got to tell everyone who loves dogs, I see lovely dogs running and being free in their dog park, brought by their owners. And I tell you, when I see those dogs, I'm inspired by the freedom that they just play and just feel free, and they feel safe. So so I'd like to thank you so much for holding this Zoom and inviting us all to it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay, I'd love to have one more share. Quay?
Hi.
Hi. Where are you calling in from or dialing in from?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Awesome.
Yeah, I don't want to go too deep into my share because I agree that I don't want to spend a lot of time, but I did want to say that, first of all, that was really beautiful, and thank you so much for it. But the point that I wanted to make was, excuse me, that my vision is like the same vision that I've been having for a really long time, and it's like I have this compound where my family lives, and then there's this other piece of the property where there's a yoga retreat, and it's very light air. People come and, get inspired, etc. But what I wanted to say was that I don't connect with, I totally connect with this vision when I do things like this. Mm-hmm. And I'm inspired today to really be deliberate in spending daily time connecting to this vision, because it is really powerful. And I just haven't been doing that until I get on a call like this or something similar where I've been guided and I see the same thing. So I think there's power in everyone's vision. And I just wanted to offer, like, if we could just stay connected to it and make it a practice. And so thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I love your vision too. I think it's beautiful. And I think I'll speak for myself. I feel like because I do spend time online now quite a bit with my business, my clients, and all that. What one thing that's been missing for me is definitely connecting in person. As much as I love it, and so it's something that I've been really putting attention into again, because it was taking away from my authentic self and just being around the people that I love and creating experiences for my clients that are in person has been so important to me, and just so when you describe that compound and like having everyone together and having, meals together and doing workouts, like, I'm just like, oh, it's so beautiful, and it's I think that in some cases it's a lost art, so thank you for sharing. It's amazing.
Thank you.
So in order to really allow ourselves to live into this vision, what I invite you to do is, does everyone have a notebook and pen? There's a way to take notes. Okay, great. So what we're going to do is I'm going to invite you to grab that notebook and pen, and I'm going to play some music. And I would love for you to write out what that dream looks like. And even if you're not a writer, just allow yourself to, you can write it in any way that you want. You can draw pictures, you can write about it, you can bullet point it out. I invite you to be open to this exercise, because what I've noticed is when we really allow ourselves to describe what that perfect day looks like, again, like what Susan was saying, is that you start to really bring this vision to life, okay? So go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and play some music, and we'll take a little bit of time, but stay present, and then I'll tell you when we'll wrap it up, okay? We'll take about, let's see, why don't we go about 10 minutes? And even if you find yourself completing the exercise in terms of the writing, then again, allow yourself to stay present and drop in and close your eyes and stretch and just be with your vision, okay? So go ahead and we'll start the writing. So if you could finish the sentence that you've been writing, and I'll take a moment to get my live stream going back on here. Oh. And I just realized the music still goes. So give me a moment to figure this out. Oh, it's so pretty though. There we go. Still learning fun functions on Zoom. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the live stream. Okay. So how was that for everyone? Good? Put up a one if that was a powerful experience for you and if you learned anything. Okay, I would love to see did anyone learn anything new about what it is that you want in your life? It's your perfect day. Anyone who had a surprise or kind of, sort of, maybe? Or you've already thought about it before, maybe? Okay. Sometimes when I go to this exercise, it's like revisiting an exercise, and I find that there's such a consistency in what I want. And at the same time, if I'm not living into it, there's something blocking me, So I find that it's super powerful to just continue to connect in with that. Okay, I'm going to just go over to the chat as well. Yeah, great. So, and I see that you asked, is Joe Yamada related to you? Yeah, so most of the music that was just playing was actually my brother, Joe. And I was thinking about, doing this writing exercise and really wanting to share music. And I also know that sometimes if you share music when it comes through the computer, how does that work? So I was on with the lovely people at Zoom, and so they shared with me how to do this. And then I was thinking about music selection, and I thought, why not share my brother's beautiful music, So yeah, there's my little shameless plug for my brother, Joe. Yeah. Oh, Ashley wrote, when I dropped into my heart in the beginning, I got that I'm a healer. Yes, that's so great. Yeah, yes, I agree. Joe's music is really beautiful. And what's amazing about Joe is, so just a little side note story. I took piano lessons for about 8 years growing up. And Joe took piano lessons for 1 year. And he's the one who's composing music and putting music out there in the world. I'm like, wait a minute, how did that happen? But he's one of, those people that are just naturally talented at composing music, and they can pick up any instrument, and suddenly you're like, how do you even do that? Like, that's my brother Joe. He's just that talented. So yeah, so if you love his music, then of course go ahead and look it up. He's on Pandora and iTunes, and he even does performances sometimes, like kind of smaller, intimate music performances and concerts, but predominantly he's an IT guy, so he's got both sides of the brain going, the tech side, the music side. He's just that amazing. Yeah, awesome. Very cool. I'm just checking some more messages here. Yeah, it's my brother. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move forward. And really, with that exercise we just did, what I invite you to do is to read, like even tonight before you go to sleep, read what you wrote today. And you can think about, if my life doesn't already look like this, what's something that I can do either even today or when you wake up tomorrow where your life can reflect what your dream life looks like. Sometimes it's not that you need to wait until something happens in order to live that way. Like I'm definitely one of those people like, oh, I should probably do this and do this and do this, and then I get to enjoy it. It's like, actually, there's things I can do right now that are reflective of that dream vision I have for myself. And so why wait? The time is now. Okay. So the next segment of this is all about deeply connecting with yourself. And so all of this is, again, connection with vision, connection with yourself, and connection with your audience or circle of influence. Okay. So we're going to kind of shift into connection with self, and all of it's intertwined. And, as I was thinking about this part of the workshop, I always think about what story can I share that will really allow me to connect deeply with you and also share something that is really vulnerable. And I find that when we're willing to go to a place of vulnerability, that's when we connect on a really deep level. So even if it's uncomfortable, I think about this even in entrepreneurship. One thing I've noticed is that a lot of entrepreneurs, when they first start to put themselves out there, or even if they've been putting themselves out there for a while, they just don't strip away the layers and be their most authentic self, their most vulnerable self, transparent about, whatever they want to be transparent about, while also acknowledging that, you get to have a private life too. You don't have to put everything out there into the world. And I really do believe that we go through experiences in our life for a reason. And I know there's a Steve Jobs quote that I don't know it word for word, but it's something along the lines of, you can't really connect the dots moving forward, but you can always connect the dots looking back. And even if it's fuzzy, like if you just think about your life for a moment and think about, some pivotal times in your life that got you to where you are now. And, I'll share myself. Okay. So, again, some of you have heard me talk about my most life awakening experience was, again, 2010. Like that year was just a life-changing year. So on one hand, I had the whole excitement of the Oprah audition and went as far as I could and really had an amazing journey with it all and learned so much about myself and the people around me and what was possible. And what was fascinating about that year was that now looking back, I'm so grateful that I was not selected as a finalist, because had I been selected, then I would not have been right where I need to be on August 4th of 2010. And I would have been in Los Angeles, because there was a whole reality show component of it, which actually when I auditioned, I didn't know that. I may have not auditioned, but I wouldn't have been here in the Seattle area. And that was a day that changed my life, where I got a phone call from Joe, who actually just heard his music playing. And my mom had some heart issues the year leading up to that moment. And she would have these episodes where she would pass out. She'd be washing the dishes and suddenly she'd fall to the floor. And so my father would, of course, call 911. And the ambulance, she would wake right back up. But, how scary it would be to not know at any given time when you might pass out. Just imagine that for a moment. And so thank goodness she was with my dad. And so he would call 911 and they would check her out, and they just couldn't figure out what was going on with her health that was causing this. And so, and of course, as her daughter, I was like, oh my gosh, she's, what's happening with her? It was scary, but I was always grateful that she would pass out, but then she'd come right back to life and she'd be fine. And so that day was different though. She passed out, and my brother called me and said, Amy, Mom has had another episode. And this time she's been unconscious for an hour, and she's at the hospital and she's in the ICU. And I just when you have those life moments that you will never, ever, ever forget, whether it was just a moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening, or even a joyous moment. And of course, in that moment, I just had a moment of panic, and I dropped everything and I raced to the hospital, and I couldn't get to her room fast enough. And, I still get, choked up about it, but it was a life-changing experience in that, there was nothing, it was out of my control. And I walked into that room, and for any of you who have ever had someone, on life support or on machines, it's just a shocking moment. So I went in there and, I just was kind of like, I just want to know what's next, what's happening, And so the doctor was there, and my dad was there, Joe was there. We were waiting for my oldest brother, Ken, to show up. And all I wanted to do was get the story out, like what happened and what's going to happen. And basically, is she going to wake up? And ultimately, I won't get into all the details of the story, but she ended up being in a vegetative state for nearly 4 months and ultimately passed. And it was the most life-awakening experience I've ever had. It was extremely emotional. It was painful to see not only my mother going through this, but each and every one of us really understanding the condition she was in, and that ultimately accepting that she wasn't coming back. Now, when I think about this experience, what comes up for me is is not that like I'm, wanting anyone to be sad for this experience that I had. It was very sad. I still miss my mom every single day. And at the same time, it really inspired me to live life every single day, because we're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised 100 years. We have no idea how long we're here. And when I realized that, wow, we're really not here forever. Like, I really get that now. And even though she's always in my heart, she's with me, I recognize that once I went through that experience, and there were so many things that happened throughout those 4 months that I learned about myself, that I learned about my mom, that I learned about my family, that I learned about the world. I was like, okay, I know that I have a deeper calling within me, and I'm not going to put it off anymore. And I wasn't even clear about what that calling was, but what I knew for sure was that I wasn't fully living my life. Like, I wasn't living and playing full out, and it just wasn't okay with me anymore, And during that time, what I also realized was that all I wanted to do during that time was to be the voice for my mom. Here she was in this condition, and, in this in-between space, and she couldn't even speak. And while each person in my family was already in a state of grieving, myself included, of course, I felt like no one else was speaking for her, And I thought, if I were in this condition, all I would want is for someone to stand for me. So this is where I'm so passionate about what I do. I learned so much about myself, and I learned about how it doesn't mean that somebody has to be in that condition in order to not have a voice. And I know that all of you are on this call for a reason. I know that all of you have a bigger dream and a bigger vision, or else you wouldn't be here on this call. The whole purpose of it is permission to dream bigger. And what saddens me is when we don't give our own vision a voice, right? We have a voice and we're not using it. We have this bigger vision, this bigger dream, this bigger purpose and calling and impact that we want to make in this world. And then we allow our limitations and our fears and what if I'm not good enough conversation to hold us back. So I know I'm going kind of deep here, but I'm not a surfacey kind of person. I like to really get to the core of what's happening. And also, on a much lighter note, allow ourselves to just dig deep and really allow those life awakening experiences to serve us for the greater good. Of course, I would give anything for my mom to be here in the human being physical form again, And because I don't get to choose that, the next best thing that I can do is to live my life full out. Because I guarantee if she were sitting here right now, and she probably is somewhere in this room, she would say to me, Amy, go live your life. Like, be your wonderful self and put yourself out there and do your thing, and just don't hold back. And so the story that I'm sharing with you is all about really digging deep and thinking about your most life awakening experience. And whether or not you've gone there before, it's up to you. I invite you to think about your own life and answer this question. And again, you can take notes on this, write it down. What was your most life awakening experience? And it doesn't mean that it has to be something that was sad or where you lost someone. It can be anything. Like, just allow yourself to just be open. And if you close your eyes and thought, okay, what was my most life awakening transformational experience? And why don't we go ahead and take another few minutes to write that down? Because again, when you connect in and write it down, there is a message within that experience. And even if you've done something like this before, I invite you to do it again. Over the years, I've gone back to that experience in order to see what I was meant to learn. And there's things that unfold throughout my life because I have a new vantage point today than I did yesterday or 5 years ago. And there were so many beautiful lessons in that experience that it really guided me to where I am now. So I invite you to once again, take a few minutes to write. I'll put on some music again and write what was your life awakening experience, okay? Okay, how's everybody doing? You good? I see some smiles. Okay, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to take a quick, is this a good time for a quick break for everyone? Maybe take a 5-minute break? Okay, so now for those of you who've done any leadership training, we always want to come back on time. So how about, let's see, it's 12:17 now. How about we go until 1:05 p.m. Pacific? So if everyone can just be on time, because we have got some really cool things we're going to do next. So at, what did I say? 1:05, no. This is my, Susan's looking at me like, what is she talking about? This is where my brain is. It's like looking at different things. Okay, so 12:25 p.m. Pacific. Yes, numbers are not always my strong suit. Okay, so I'll see you at 12:25. Okay, so Rebecca is asking if we can listen to my brother's music while we take a break. Yes, we can do that. Okay, one moment. Be right back.
It's pretty hot in here. Okay. Maybe a fan. Let's do it again.
Okay, is everybody back? Let's see here. So a lot of people on their phones or not on video, which is totally fine. I want to read through some more of these chats. So let's see here. Okay. Laura says, my dream is pretty much the same as it has been for a while. However, it's good to see it again, and I want to look and stay focused on how I can manifest my dream. Awesome. Oh, and Ken posted the actual quote. So if you love quotes like I do, I totally geek out on quotes. I love them. He said the Steve Jobs quote that I was looking for was, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. I love that. Quay says, thank you for sharing being vulnerable. Yeah, you're welcome. You know, it's interesting. It's there are times when I can talk about my mom and be totally like, you know, kind of fine. And then there's those times when I just feel that like, okay, if I go too deep into it, I'll be a mess, you know? And so thank you for, to all of you for just creating such a safe space where I felt okay and safe sharing with you. It's beautiful. Anne says, oh, very powerful story, Amy. I have similar passion and message. My life awakening moments were very different, but helping to empower others to have a voice and truly live life of their dreams. So important. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, and so someone asked, and I did post how long this is going to go. So we're going until 1:30 p.m. Pacific today. So I'm hopeful that you can all stay because there's some cool things we're going to do between now and the end of the workshop. And yeah, I know some had to jump off, but okay. Fantastic. Okay, so in writing about, you know, your life awakening experience or your most transformational experience, there are two questions that come to mind. One is, what was either the number one message or lesson that you learned from that experience? And the second is, do you see a connection to what you're doing now or what your passion and purpose is or what you would like to be doing. So I would love for someone to be my brave volunteer for us to go through these 2 questions, just so everyone's getting a feel for what this is about. So who would like to connect in with me here? Okay, so I see Ashley and a handsome gentleman next to her. So go ahead and unmute.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
I'm Max. I'm Ashley's friend, and I was feeling shy earlier, but I'm ready to share now.
Yeah, great.
So the first question was, I guess I'll just share a little bit about my experience first.
Yeah. Okay.
Which was, I had an amazing experience of really, I woke up from an amazing dream and felt just like completely in the moment for like a few months, and it was the most amazing experience. And it kind of taught me that the kind of power that you can have if you're really present and tapping into that power. And it's definitely relates to what I'm doing now, which is developing apps for meditation. So programming. So yeah.
Awesome. That's very cool. Okay, so, and then when you think about your life waking experience, like what was the number one message and lesson you learned from it?
That I guess the number one lesson is that when you kind of can reduce this kind of hyperactive thinking, you can create space in your head to intuitively do things in a much more enjoyable and I think intelligent way.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. And the fact that you were able to bring like technology and this meditation together in order to create something that people could tap into. That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I think it's important to use the technology to help us rather than just let it affect us in ways that aren't so good.
Right. So instead of a distraction, it can actually center us. So, so Max, you said Max, right? Is your name?
Yeah.
So where can we find this fabulous app? Like, is it already out there in the world, or what's?
No, it's not out there. I'm developing it right now. I am beta testing it. If anybody would like to beta test it, yeah. It works with your computers for people that are on their computer a lot, and occasionally, a few times every hour, the brightness of your screen will get a little bit brighter and then dimmer to guide you into taking some deep breaths while you're on the computer. And it also works. It also works with this little Bluetooth device called Spire, which actually measures your breath. So you can actually see your breath while you're on the computer with like these gentle brightness changes that connect you with your breath occasionally while you're on the computer.
I'm enrolled. This sounds amazing. So, and I see some other smiley faces here, both on the screen, but also on the chat. So is there like a link or something, or how can we find out more about this beta?
You can send me an email. My email is maxwellcoffee@gmail.com.
Can you actually pop it into the chat right now so that we can, for those of us
Shoot me an
wondering,
email. It only works for Mac computers though right now.
Okay, I'm gonna.
If you have an Apple computer.
Maxwell Coffee. Anything with coffee makes me happy, by the way.
We're drinking it.
And definitely, it's so funny. You know stories, right? So not all of you know that I was born and raised over in Japan. Like my dad's full Japanese, my mom was American, and but I went to an American school, and my Japanese is crap, so don't ask. But so I grew up over there, and then I came to Seattle after graduating from high school to attend the University of Washington. And Seattle is all known for coffee. Like we're just like crazy about coffee. I was not a coffee drinker at the time, and so I made some friends in college. And one day there was, this is like early on, and they're like, "Hey, let's go on a Starbucks run." And I looked at them and I said, "What's Starbucks?" And the whole group was like, "What?" And like suddenly I'm like being shunned. Like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, I don't, because it wasn't in Japan yet, or if it was maybe in Tokyo and not Yokohama or something. And they said, it's a coffee shop. I'm like, "Oh, I don't like coffee." They're like, "No, you don't understand. Like you got to try it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like clearly there was just this like a cult following of Starbucks. And I was like, all right. So they decided to make it like a field trip, like a group of women. They're just like, we're getting in we're like piling in somebody's car. We're taking Amy to Starbucks, And so we go down there, and I'm so not enrolled. I'm just like, I don't even know like what the big deal is. And they got me probably some evil, mocha with whipped cream and chocolate. Like they probably had, it was like a dessert, you know? And so they're like, here, try this. And I took one sip and I'm ruined, you know, like just, so at first I was all about the lattes and like the heavy sugar, carb, everything. And, oh man, I'm sure it was not good for me, but, anyway, I've cut back on all that stuff, but I still love a good like Americano with like some coconut milk and just coffee just makes me happy. So
yeah, me too.
yeah, so now I know what Starbucks is, and I've probably spent way too much money there. And then of course I'm so into like the local coffee shops now, and it's a happy thing. So anyway, that's a little sidebar for everybody, but yes, maxwellcoffee@gmail.com. You know, I always like to think of these as opportunities. Like you never know if somebody on this call right now could help you, you know, put it out there in the world, or if all of us are willing to beta it and talk about it. Like that's the power of connection, you know? It's like you're doing something to make a difference for people. And a lot of us, I'll speak for myself, I'm working on not being on technology as much. And this would be super helpful for me to just remind myself to like, oh yeah, breathe, you know, and take a moment and don't spend too many hours, you know, in front of a screen. So Max, that's fantastic. I love it.
Can I say real quick, just for fun, yesterday he created a little app. Can I tell him?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, just for fun, because this is his passion. This is what he loves, right? He made a little icon that you can tap at the top of your screen, and it turns off your internet access for 30 minutes so that you'll focus. Yeah.
Max, you're going to change the world. Seriously, for those of us who are way too much on screens, like that's why I'm creating these new like in-person retreats, because I'm like I'm missing that in-person experience. I'm like, I'm gonna create the most epic in-person experience ever, and we're doing it, you know. And so I couldn't be more excited about it. But this is I believe that this is what the world needs, because I feel like the connection piece has been lost a bit, you know. And it's like it's because we're always like do, you know. So thank you. That's amazing.
Video chat is a great way, I think, to connect with people.
It is. I do feel more connected in this kind of a sense, you know, because I'm like, no, we're all here together. It's great. I love it.
I like Zoom more than Skype.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving Zoom. It's fantastic. Okay, I would love to have another person share. Okay, so again, answering the two questions of when you were thinking about your life awakening experience. And again, when somebody's sharing, I would love for all of us to just really create that space of tuning in, and also noticing like, what's coming up for you and what can you learn from the person who's speaking. You just never know. So who would like to share the number one message or lesson that you learned from this experience, and do you see a connection to what you're doing now? Who would like to share? Okay, let me see here. Okay. Okay, Sally, let me share.
Okay, well, mine is really quite hilarious because it was so crap that, you know, like I think about these nice things in the world, like beautiful sunsets, and I've had loads of that. But the real life-changing experience for me was in 2001, and I was at that point a professional photographer for 20 years, and everybody saw me as that. It was a cool job. Everybody thought, oh, you know, like you're the photographer. And therefore I had attached the whole identity to it. You know, it's like, it was who I was in a way. There was a whole thing going on. But I was lonely. I was working on my own, and I had this thing like, yeah, it was cool. But, you know, I was in London flats, like sort of James Bond style flats on my own, with nobody to say, wow, you know, look at this place. And I really got it. It was like I was sort of bored out of my skull with myself. So at pretty much the same time, I had written a book, and it had taken me ages to write, and it was all called Rites of Passage. So it was a really epic little masterpiece about different rituals that people do around the world at different stages of their lives. And it had been edited, photographed, printed. No, sorry, not printed. It had been it'd been printed. That's right. And just at the point of release, 9/11 happened. And you would think that, like, what has that got to do with me? Nothing. Actually, what happened was the publishers dropped the book. I got paid fully for it, and I had, all the editing and everything, but it was completely soul destroying, because what they decided to do was focus on books about terrorism or books about recovering from terrorism and all of that, and they stopped it at the print run. Right? Not long after that, the partner I was with split up with me, and it was devastating. I thought it was the love of my life. And that went, down the Swanee. He wasn't the love of my life in the end. And then I had 7 root canals.
Oh my gosh.
7. Wow. 7, not just one. And I was experiencing hell in my head and teeth, and it was because of bad dental work that was done. All of these 3 things happened at the same time, and I was just so devastated by it. But what happened was I was able to go, kind of, F this. This is so crap. I can't even believe that life can be this bad. And I made a decision overnight, pretty much, to change what I was doing. And against all the odds, I went into property development, and I didn't know. I wasn't trained in it. I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
It was a weird moment, because I received an email, like in the intense horror of my life, privately. I just suddenly got this random email which said, "Do you want to change your life?" And it was one of those bizarre emails, and I followed it up, and I just went for it. And there is something very similar that's going on now. So for me, my experience is when the shit hits the fan, like truly on some level, it gives me the most amazing courage to go, I'm going to do something different. And a very similar thing has happened, not 9/11 and all the rest of it, but it's been a really tough year. And I was talking to Alora about it, who's on this call today, and there's been a sort of bullying thing that I've experienced. And I've even got some psycho on Facebook right now. Everything I do, he will write something like, "This woman is a scammer, she's a whatever." It seems out of my control. And what I made a decision to do was to move to Ibiza out of that. Right. Again, it was not good times. And all I can say is that the bad times have given me incredible power to just go, I'm going to change my life now. There's really, it can't get any worse. So why not try something different? Right. And I don't mean that sound awful or like victim. There's tons of things that are great in my life, just to be clear. But it's that edge of like, I ain't doing this anymore. Something has to change. And I think that's really powerful. So, yeah.
Amazing. No, I really do believe that the whole connection piece is there. And another thing that, what I picked up on something that you said was that, that these were like bad things, or it was the worst thing. And these are natural words to use. One of the things that really helped me, and I want to gift this to all of you. So if you're starting to check out a little bit, because I know it's going a little long, right? Just lean in. After my mom passed away, and I was talking to a friend of mine about what had happened, he said, I know that most people would say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," or "That's so tragic," or "That's so awful." He said, "But I have a different way of looking at life." And he's like, "Do you mind if I share?" I'm like, "By all means." And he said, these words that we use, the messaging, the words that we use things like bad or awful or tragic or horrible or any of these words. And he said, and these are human being invented words. And so when I was reflecting back to being in the hospital with my mom and, those months that I experienced, and he said, what if we just stripped away all those words, and instead of saying, "What a horrible experience," instead of saying like that, he would say, "Wow, what an experience you had." Wow, that was quite an experience. Did you learn anything from that experience? Right? And any of you can use this for if you've ever gone through something really painful, and just instead of the conversation being, "That was terrible, that was awful," what if it was, "What did you learn from that?" And so when he asked me that question, I'm like, oh my gosh, I learned so much. I learned this and I learned that and I learned this and I learned that. I said, wow, how beautiful is it that you got to learn so much? And I'll tell you, it was such a healing conversation for me. And I go back to it often because in life, we do have painful experiences. We do have experiences that we would not choose for ourselves. And in my opinion, it's how we choose to show up in those experiences, right? And then what is the life lesson and seeing the blessing in it? You know what I mean? So I just invite all of you to kind of open your mind to that because it was such a gift that he gave me. And now it helps me process through anything that's painful or bad or, you know, tragic, while still honoring my feelings, you know. And
Can
so
you still hear me? Or am I muted? No, I just wanted to say something into that as well. I totally agree with you. So sorry for using the word crap and everything.
Oh, no, I use the word crap. So don't, I'm just in a sense of thinking of things differently. That's all I'm saying.
But on another level, what I really got this year when things were happening again that were intense, I've been asking for this for ages. All these reasons to stay in London, which are great reasons because I do very well here. You know, I have a network, it works. It took something intense for me to relook at it, to make a big decision to leave. And that was the gift of it, really, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Sally, thank you so much for sharing. That's incredible. It's really great. Okay. So I'm just going to do a little time check here. Okay, so we are once again going to shift gears. And again, all of these exercises you can come back to. And if you weren't finished writing, you can always come back to it and finish writing, or even come back to these exercises time and time again. These have all been really helpful for me. So as we move forward, so we've talked about our vision, what our dream day looks like. You know, we've talked about connecting in with ourselves and really thinking about our most life awakening experience and what was the lesson and what did we learn from that experience? What was the message from that experience? And do we see a connection to what it is that we're doing now or what we'd like to do? And again, allow yourself to continue to explore this calling within you. Because I love those, again, quotes where you'll hear things like, you know, make your mess your message or make your test your testimonial. And I really believe that I don't believe that we go through painful experiences for nothing. You know, I do believe that there's a message within all of it. And joyous experiences too. Like when you're on a high, it's like, wow, this feeling is something I would like to experience more often, you know, and then we can think about what worked for you during those experiences and what wasn't working for you and continue to grow. So the next space that we get to go into is really building a deep connection with your circle of influence. For some of you, it's your audience. You know, I know some of you have a following online, an email list, an audience. And then even if you don't have that, all of us are connected with people, right? So there is a circle of influence, not just people who we influence, but people who influence us. So I invite you to write down these questions, and we won't go into a full writing exercise because there's one more piece that I would love to have you focus on, but I would love for you to write these down and maybe jot down a few notes on this. So here we go. Who inspires you? And as the second part to that question, who do you let influence you the most? Who inspires you, and who do you let influence you the most? And you can just take just a quick moment. Just don't even overthink it. Just the first people that come to mind and write them down. And this could be either people that you know personally, or it could be people that you follow. You know, it could be not celebrities, but like, you know, people that are like, I always think of like celebrity entrepreneurs, or maybe you're in a spiritual space. Maybe there's someone in the spiritual world or leaders in your life. Who inspires you, and who do you let influence you the most? Okay. So once you stop writing, go ahead and look up so I can see your beautiful faces. Okay, I know some of you are on the phone. For those of you on the phone, thank you for joining us. I know it's not quite the same as seeing each other's faces, but I acknowledge you for being here and participating. And, I hope that you are also gaining some insight throughout these exercises. Okay, so now that you've thought about or written down who inspires you and who do you let influence you the most, now think about those people and what is the golden thread that you notice amongst them in terms of their character? What is the golden thread? And you can bullet point out, like, is it their courage? Are they loving? Are they, what are the characteristics and the golden thread that you notice about these people? And once you're done with that, go ahead and look up. Take your time. This is so cool that we're here together. It's so fun. Okay. And the next question is, who do you want to influence? So another way to think about this, especially for those of you who are entrepreneurs, even if you're not, that's okay. But like, who do you want to work with the most? Like when you think about the people you would like to make, like who's your tribe, your community, your audience, your ideal clients or team members, who do you want to work with the most? And just, don't overthink it. Like whatever comes to mind when you hear that question. Another way of answering the question is, who do you want to serve? Like who do you want to help? Okay. And then the next question is, and again, it's not about perfection, right? Whatever comes to mind first. What is your unique gift for the world? What is your unique gift for the world, or your unique gift that you'd like to share with the world? Okay. Again, you can always come back to this and explore it later and really dig deep on that. So, okay, I'm just going to do a little check-in. Like, how many of you are super clear on like the messaging that you're putting out there in the world? Like, put up a 1 if you're super crystal clear and you're like, I'm on it, I know what I'm doing. Okay, Max, Lisa. Hey, Lisa, I'm so happy you're here. I know you're not on video, but it's good to see you here. If you know how to raise your hand if you're not on video. Okay. Okay, so that tells me that that's an area. Is that an area all of you could use some help? Okay. Yes. Put up a 1. Yes? Okay. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, because I had a couple different things. I mean, I could do this all day long. So fun. What I'm going to do is something that I know a few of you who are my clients, you've gone through this exercise. So I invite you to create a sacred space for everybody here because it's possible they haven't gone through this. And as you know, if you're my client, that this is an exercise that's so powerful to come back to time and time and time again. So there's a series of 4 questions. Hold on, my dog wants to go out. Hi, Bella. Go ahead. Hi, Bella Bear. Okay. So there's a series of 4 questions I'm going to take you through, and this is one of my favorite exercises because, as I mentioned earlier, like words and messaging are my strength, and I know that if there's one thing I've noticed about a lot of entrepreneurs or even purpose-driven individuals is that they may have a passion for what it is that they want to do, and at the same time, they don't know how to articulate with confidence and clarity and uniqueness in their delivery of what it is that they're doing, okay? So this is called creating your marketing mission statement. Your marketing mission statement. And the reason this exercise is so powerful is that it takes you through just 4 simple questions, and then you can create a statement. Not like a mission statement that you put on your website and that you put out there in the world like in concrete, but it's more of a behind the scenes mission statement that has sound bites in it that you can use time and time again from every single connection platform. It's like one of the signature things that I teach my clients, and I want to share it with you because it really allows you to deeply connect with your audience, and it can even be a foundation for every single thing you put out there, as well as having effective enrollment conversations. So, okay, you guys excited? Yes? Okay. All right. Okay, so I see Rebecca smiling. She's like, I know this one. Okay, so the first question, hold on, which we already started to go into is who is it that you want to help? So again, just really kind of, if you've already written it down, great. Is it women? Is it men? Is it entrepreneurs? Is it children? Who is it that you want to help? And write that down if you haven't already. You can also write down these questions because I'm pretty sure you'll come back to this exercise. I'm really strong with marketing messaging, and I come back to this exercise all the time to strengthen my message for what I put out there in the world, okay? So who is it that you want to help? The second question is, when you think about these people that you would like to help, what is their common desired result? What is their common desired result? What do they want? Okay. Is everybody good? Yeah? Try to keep it concise. There may be many things that they want, but if you could really summarize it into a couple of things that they really want. If not, that's okay. It's an exercise, right? Okay, so you ready for question number 3? Still see some writing here. Okay, yes? Okay. So question number 3 is, what is your title or the best brief description of a title? So are you a coach, a healer? Are you a certain kind of coach or a healer or, a representative of a company or, just what is your title or the best description of a title? Very good. Okay. And the fourth question, which, this might be one that you spend a little more time on, but again, for the sake of the exercise, just do the best you can. So what are the 2 to 3 core elements that you believe, like this from your point of view, what are the 2 to 3 core elements that you believe these people need in order to achieve the desired result? I'll repeat that. From your point of view, what are the 2 to 3 core elements, like foundational elements, that you believe they need in order to achieve this desired result? And bullet point them out, okay? Okay. Is everybody good? See these hesitant nods, like, yeah, I think so. Okay. Again, remember, you can always come back to it. I'm a recovering perfectionist, so I know sometimes I'm like, really get it perfect. Okay. So this is a really, in my opinion, a big opportunity for anyone who needs help on this. This is your chance to volunteer to help me help you with creating your marketing mission statement based on the answers to the questions. So I'm really excited to help someone right now. And remember, you're in a safe place. So if you stumble over words, don't worry. I stumble over words. I have tech issues. So who would like to be my courageous? Okay, Anne is the first person I saw. So, Anne, if you could unmute yourself. Okay, Anne.
I'm scared.
You're scared. Oh yeah. So don't be scared. Like, you're in such a safe place. Like, it's just me. It's just, 60 plus people from around the world. I'm just kidding. If it makes me feel any better. Okay. I was really excited about today, and then I was a little nervous too, because I'm like, I hope this is beneficial for everyone, and I just want to do a good job. And I was scared too. So I hear you. It's all good. So thank you for coming. And I love that. Is that a painting or a picture behind you?
Yes. It's where I want to be.
Yeah, that's part of your vision right there. Anywhere with palm trees and sandy beaches is fine by me. I love it. Okay. So, Anne, I'm going to just remember, you're just answering questions. It's really no big deal, and there's no perfect answer. So who is it that you want to help?
I want to help those who suffer in silence. So those that carry chronically ill diseases, and people that are like suicidal and all that. It's pretty deep.
Okay.
Deep group of people, but I feel like they need a voice, a platform, and they're suffering without anyone basically witnessing their story, having a place for them to be acknowledged.
Okay, great. And what is their common desired result?
Joy and freedom.
Awesome. And what is your title, or the best description of your title?
Well, I got stuck on that. I put inspirational leader. I didn't know. I don't really know yet. That's
okay. So the way for any of you who are also struggling with a title, I think of titles as outfits. Like, I just tried on a few at the beginning of launching my business, like to see what looked the best on me and what did people kind of get, So don't be attached. Just allow yourself to be playful with it and not worry about, just don't be attached. Like, I remember I was like, I'm a success mentor. And then I was like, marketing lifestyle. I tried on all these, different things. And then I was like, all right, I'm a business coach. And even now, it's funny because what's being reflected back to me is that as I'm growing into kind of really becoming known for the power of deep connection, it's like I'm not even as worried about a title, like I'm just kind of like, even my coach, some of you know Shanda Sumter, she and I laugh about this. She's like, Amy, don't get caught up in being a business coach like all other business coaches. She's like, I'm like, well, then what am I? And she goes, you're Amy Yamada. Like, you get to become known for like what you want to become known for, for deep connection. I'm like, okay. And I always feel like this exercise is helpful to at least create a foundation. You know what I mean? So to just use the title for now, we can say inspirational leader for now,
okay,
for the sake of this exercise. And then just be open to whatever is being reflected back to you. And this is for anyone else who's struggling with that, okay? Okay, so from your point of view, Anne, what are the 2 to 3 core elements that you believe these individuals need in order to achieve joy and freedom?
I put number 1, a platform to share the story, to be heard, to be seen. Number 2, learn better self-love and compassion. And number 3, create a dream life, and have hope for the future, a vision of getting out of where they're at now into a better space.
Perfect.
And then I have all these different ideas, like I want to do that through helping them write their story or video or photos or artwork, retreat.
Those are like more of the methods. Okay, so story. So say them again. Stories.
So write their story, do a video, do photography, artwork, some way to express how they're feeling,
like a creative expression.
What they've been through. Like, with your story with your mom, it would be like some way to express that.
Sure. Beautiful.
And then, what did I say after that? Oh, I don't know. Anyways. Yeah.
Okay, great. First of all, thank you for being willing to be courageous to share. And it sounds like you're doing some really deep work, or you desire to do some deep work. So have you already been doing this kind of work?
No, I met you originally through Amber a long time ago, like maybe a year ago, but then I've been battling my own stuff. So I've been in and out, but I have another business I've been doing for 20 years, another entrepreneur job. Mm-hmm. And I want to switch to this. And so I've been visioning for like about 6 months now, pretty intensely, like trying to figure out what I want to do and what my story is and how I want to help people. So it's starting to come together, and I'm at the very beginning stages. So I'm trying to figure out, where to start. It's a little overwhelming. So
yeah. So first of all, I honor you for just, again, noticing that this is something that's calling you forward, and that's part of your bigger vision, and I feel like, I'm sure you have your own story. I can see it in your eyes. Like you have a story behind your surface, that's really deep and meaningful. I just sense that from you. And, I think that when you've been through your own journey yourself, then who better than you to be able to make a difference for those people that are suffering. So I just want to acknowledge you for that. It's really beautiful. So as a rough draft of your marketing mission statement, it can sound something like this. And for all of you who are doing this exercise, just notice that you can use this as a template for what you can write down as your marketing mission statement by using the answers to these questions, okay? And there's variations of it, so I'll go through it. So, Anne, you could say, I help people who suffer in silence due to chronically ill diseases or depression to achieve ultimate joy and freedom. And as an inspirational leader, the way in which I do this is to help them gain a platform to share their story. I help them to create a daily practice of self-love and compassion. And I help them align with their dream life so they can get out of where they are now in order to be in a better space.
Wow.
Okay. Right? So, and then if you wanted to even go further than that, then you could say, some examples. So some examples of what I take my clients through, or, the people that I help through is, writing their story, doing videos, really coming up with a creative expression in order to have their breakthrough to joy and freedom. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So all I'm doing here is I'm taking the answers to the questions and putting it into a marketing mission statement. And it's not, in my opinion, it's not about memorizing like an elevator pitch. Like those of you know who, you know, like for some reason I just don't like that phrase, but it's more of a behind the scenes statement that has sound bites of the things that you want people to know about how you can help them. So I think that when people try to script things out, like, can you imagine if I came to this workshop and everything was scripted? Like, it's like, and next we are going to blah, 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 you know, like it just wouldn't land, you know? So instead I had bullet points. And even then I knew that in order for me to serve to the best of my ability, I really wanted to tap into everyone's energy here so I could serve in a very, in my, you know, my hope, a very deeply connected way. So for you, Anne, when you talk about these people who are suffering in silence, then it's about using this template. So all of you can write this down. You know, I help blank, right? This is the template. So this is really can help you in terms of creating your marketing mission statement. I help blank, and that's when you insert the type of people you help. Or another variation is blank hire me. So it could be like women hire me too, right? So either variation. So I help blank or blank hire me too. And then another blank for what is the common desired result. So for example, and I do many variations of my own marketing mission statement, but for example, coaches and service-based entrepreneurs hire me to help them create the impact and the income they've always wanted. And as a business coach, the way I help them do that is to help them create their signature offerings, to deeply connect with their audience both online and in person, and to make their offers through heart-centered enrollment conversations. So there's just one variation of it. So it's blank hire me to blank as a blank. It's like ad libs. As a blank, you know, your title. The way I help them achieve this is through, and then bullet point, bullet point, bullet point.
So Amy, real quick question is just, when I say suffer in silence, is that, I'm worried about it being negative, like focusing on the negative. What do I do about that? Then
you can flip it to a positive.
Okay.
You know, and you know, that is one area that if I were in your shoes, I would work on as well, because it is highly vulnerable, you know, because even if people hear that, they may pull up a wall like, well, yeah, I'm suffering in silence, but I don't want to tell you that, you know. Just always think about, and this is for all of you in any communication with your audience, is always think about the yeah buts, right? So whenever I'm putting messaging out there in the world, I read it back, or I think about how I delivered it, and then I'm always intuitively connecting with my ideal clients or my audience and thinking about, what is their yeah but? Like if I could hear them speaking to me right now, they could say, yeah, but Amy, you don't understand. This is what I'm going through, right? Or you don't, yeah, but Amy, is, you know, working with you really going to help me have my next big breakthrough? Or yeah, but Amy, I don't have time to jump on a 2.5-hour workshop on a Friday. You know, like I'm always thinking about that so I can address it. So if you think that suffering in silence, like, yeah, but Anne, I don't want to tell you that I'm suffering in silence because I'm embarrassed and I'm vulnerable, you know? So a way to flip it would be something like people who are seeking, people who are wanting to get out of, I don't know what word to use there, so you can help, we can co-create this, you know, like they want to get out of this and into that. Or people who are seeking joy, hire me to help them achieve freedom. Or people who want to have a breakthrough in their routine or their, I don't know. This is where, again, I would need to do some more work on it. But you see what I'm saying? Like,
because if I say joy or freedom, it kind of is so vague that I can't really, you know. It's
right. I mean, I still would want to make sure that it was a specific audience. So you could, I mean, another way to do it, even though this does still have some maybe negativity, is like people who are wanting to build confidence, or people who are battling self-worthiness, or people who want to achieve a higher level of self-worthiness. There could be something in there. Again, this is where a little bit of work goes into this type of a message. I mean, worthiness is a big thing. I've worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs at this point, and if there's one common thread that I hear from them all the time, like nearly every single one of them has said to me, Amy, who am I to think that I can do this? You know, who am I to think that I can serve people in this way? Or who am I to think that I could be a coach or an expert, or, you know what I mean? Like, I hear it all the time, and all it's reflecting to me is, I am not enough. I'm not worthy of this, you know? And when I hear that, it breaks my heart, first of all, and I do understand it, because I still, as I grow, I still have those moments. Who am I to think that I can, you know, do fill in the blank? So whenever I hear that, I just want to give this to you as like a side note, because it's something that has been super powerful for myself, my clients, my friends, is that anytime we have that thought come up of unworthiness or doubting ourselves, like, who am I to think that I can be a coach or be an entrepreneur, or be an entrepreneur at that level, or serve at that level? As soon as you have that thought, you are making it about you. And that is taking you out of service to the people you're meant to influence on a very positive level. So I have those thoughts still come up, even though I've been in this mindset practice for a long time. So whenever those thoughts come up, and like, who am I to think I can do this? Or, you know, first of all, I'm very transparent. If somebody's asking me for something that is not in my area of expertise, then I will say, you know, and that's actually not in my area of expertise, but here's what I would do if I were in your shoes, or here's someone that I could, you know, refer you to help you with that. The other piece of it is, when the thoughts come up of, who am I to think I can do this? Or I'm, you know, where, you know, there's some lack, scarcity, small bracket coming up for me, I crush it by saying, who am I not to do this? And I'm committed to making a difference. So as long as I can drop into my heart and ask myself one question, do I believe that I can help the person or the people in front of me? And if the answer is yes, then let go of that limiting belief of, who am I to do this, and just serve and serve and serve. And it's been one of the biggest game changers in my life, in my business, in every relationship, you know? So I just want to share that, because I feel like that's one of the messages I'm meant to share in this world.
Because I think immediately, well, I'm not a trained therapist, and I don't really want to like become a therapist. That's not my thing, but I do, you know, so I feel not qualified.
Right.
I feel like I really can help this population, because I've been there, done that, you know, so.
Right. Yeah. And just be clear with people about that, you know, like, even though I don't do what you're talking about doing, oftentimes as a coach, you know, a coach and client relationship it's really deeply connected. Right. And so there are times when people will come to me and share with me extremely deep things that they have gone through. And if it ever feels to me like I'm out of integrity in serving this person because I don't have the training for that in psychology, then I will just, from a loving place, just say, you know, I would love to help you with this, and yet I don't feel like it's my place to do that. I'm here for you, and I'm here to support you and guide you to the vision that you want. And at the same time, these are the areas I can help you with, and these are the areas that I'd recommend to go to a counselor or therapist. And then I also speak into the fact that I have gone to therapy and counseling, you know, in times that I really needed it. And and I feel like in this day and age, it's not as like a thing, you know, that people are like, oh, I can't tell anybody that I'm going to counseling. I'm like, counseling is great. You know, like, if you want to process through some stuff, like, find a counselor that you align with. And I tell you what, it will help. So Anne, I just invite you to make sure that, you know, if it ever feels like it's crossing a line, you know, and make sure, all of you, make sure you have everything in writing, you know, like legally binding contracts. And while I can't advise you legally, what I can recommend is that make sure that you have a good, you know, business attorney that writes up your contracts, so that it's very clear, if you're not a therapist or counselor or psychotherapist or fill in the blank, that it's very clearly outlined in that agreement, because you don't want to mess with that, you know? So not to come from a place of fear, but I just want to always be transparent in what's important in business. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. So has this been helpful so far, everyone? You enjoying it? Yeah. Awesome. Hey, Rox. I'm happy to see Roxana. Roxana is one of my BFFs, and we got to spend time at a really cool fundraiser last night together, so I'm happy to see you here. Okay, so before we wrap up, I'm going to take you through one more quick exercise because I really, again, this is all about permission to dream bigger, okay? And before I do that, I love that we're all connecting here today, and I love staying connected in any way possible. I know there are people here where we're already connected, but I do have a Facebook group page that anyone's welcome to request to join. So if you're not already in my Dream Life Entrepreneurs group page, it's just a free group page just to connect, and I would love to stay connected with you because I feel like we're in each other's lives for a reason. So there's no pressure whatsoever, but if you'd like to continue the conversation, then go ahead and go to Dream Life Entrepreneurs, like just search it on Facebook, Dream Life Entrepreneurs, and send a request. And then I'll go in there after this workshop's complete and accept your request. And then we can, stay connected there. So that'll be great. Okay, so before we wrap up, I invite you to think about your big vision. So I know we focused on like a day in your life, but like when you, let's just all close our eyes again. Just get centered once again. Okay, close your eyes. And I invite you to take a deep breath in and out. And you've been in this really great space with each other and with me today. And I invite you to think about what is that big, big dream vision of yours? Like if you could, again, release any limitations, release anything that's holding you back, release anything that could stop you from achieving whatever it is that you want. If you had a magic wand that you could just wave this magic wand and have whatever it is that you wanted, what would that vision be? And just sit with it for a moment. Close your eyes and sit with it for a moment. What is it? Think about where it is that you would want to be, who would you be surrounding yourself with, and what is that deeper calling within you? You're unstoppable, you can do anything. What is that bigger vision? Okay. Allow yourself to see yourself there already, like it's as if it has already happened. What does it feel like? If you were to take yourself to one moment as your future fabulous self, take yourself to one moment that would be a game changer for you in the mission that you are here to play out in your life. Allow yourself to go to that moment and be in that moment. Where are you? Are you with people? Are you alone? What is the work that you're meant to do in this world? What is that moment and what does it represent? Be in that moment. What is your emotion in that moment? How fulfilled do you feel in that moment where you know that you're exactly where you're meant to be, surrounded by exactly who you're meant to be surrounded with? And what is it that you're doing? And just remember this moment, because you can revisit this moment anytime that you want. And it can be an evolving vision that allows you and calls you forward to dream bigger and live into that dream and not let anything stop you. Take a deep breath in and out. And in again. and out. Slowly open your eyes. So, the last thing that we'll do today is to think about what is one thing that you can do today that will get you closer to that vision. What is one thing? Go ahead and write it down. And some of you will be overachievers and you'll write down like 5 things. And that's okay too. But commit yourself. I invite you to be committed to one thing that no matter what, before your head hits the pillow tonight, that you are committed to achieving this one thing. It could be a baby step. It could be, you know what, I'm so fired up right now. I'm going to take a big step. That one thing I've been talking about doing is happening today. Everything else gets to be on the back burner because I'm committed to my dream and my vision. And this is how important it is to me today. Write it down. Now, next to that one thing, I'd like you to write down, by what time are you committed, no matter what, like you are on a mission. By what time today will you absolutely be complete with this one thing? And if you want to take it a step further, write it down. I am committed to blank by whatever time you're writing down. And sign it. This is your contract for yourself today. And if you want to even deeper this experience, then I'm going to do something I've never done before. Okay, because I just feel it. Once you've come up with your contract for today of the one thing you're committed to doing by when, I'm going to give you my cell phone number. And I am inviting you to text me so I can hold you accountable. So text me, just say, Amy, I'm putting in the chat box for you listening. My cell phone number is 425, write it down, 425-286-4757. And I'll be so excited today to see my phone blowing up. I am committed to blank, say your name so I know who you are. Amy, it's so-and-so. I want your full name. I am committed to blank by blank, and put in the time zone so I know when you're complete. And then once you've done it, I would love another text message that says, Amy, I'm complete. And even if you want to share how you feel about it, that would be amazing too. And be willing to stretch yourself. You know, if it's something you're already planning on doing, then you're missing out on the exercise. You're like, what would be really stretchy for me today? It doesn't mean it needs to take a lot of time, but what would be really stretchy? Like, what phone call could I make? Or what task could I achieve? Or what plan could I make? Like, what could I put on my calendar and just be so committed that this is happening? Like, I would love to just hear all of your commitments that are in line with your bigger dream today, and that by the end of today, you've completed something. And imagine if you did this every single day. Just imagine it. Like, where would you be a month from now? You know? So this is what I do on a daily basis as far as really committing to my bigger dreams and goals. And when I get caught up in my head, like, who's had those moments where you know what you should be doing, but it's like you procrastinate and then it goes to tomorrow? Like, raise your hand if that's you. Right? So I do that, right? I still come back to it, even though I've been practicing this other way of being and thinking. I get to work on my consistency with it. So for example, I know some of you are coming to the Zone event. It's my favorite event of the year that Shanda Sumter and her team puts on, and I'm honored to be a speaker on the stage this year. So one of my bigger visions is I get to speak on the stage and I get to practice my talk. And for a while I was procrastinating it, even though it's so in line with my bigger vision. And because there's butterflies around it, I'm like, if I practice, I'm nervous. And now I'm like, nope, I get to, you know, I get to practice. So on that note, Who is committed to sending me a text message of your commitment for today? Put up a 1. Awesome. Who's actually committed to their commitment? Put up a 1. Okay. Who's committed to sending me a text message once you've completed it? Put up a 1. Okay, I'm looking around. I'm looking around. Awesome. Awesome. Great. Fantastic. I know some of you are on the phone, and I'm just feeling those ones. So again, I'm not attached. If you don't want to do, that's fine. But I am excited and honored to serve you today. And just know that when you take steps like that every single day, then you just never know what can happen. So yeah, I'm seeing some messages here of Quay is going to be at the zone. Awesome. I know Roxanne's going to be at the zone. I know Ken's going. I know Alora, I believe, is going to be there, right? Sally, are you going to the zone event? There's a bunch of people. So again, if you don't know about what the zone event is, you can post in the Dream Life Entrepreneurs page. If you know, I think there's still tickets left. It's happening September 25th, 26th, and 27th, and it's in Palm Springs. So it's a really great event. So yeah, so anyone who's like, you know what, I could use more of this kind of energy around me, like it's a really cool event. So, well, on that note, I just would love to open it up. If you want to unmute yourselves, if anyone has any big takeaways or want to share anything really briefly before we wrap up. Is everybody happy? Everyone good?
That was so Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's see a question here. Can you share about your powerhouse? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so so powerhouse, this is my most exciting thing. So with my desire to be in person with people more, I've decided to produce a very cool experience. It's like a 90-day group mastermind followed by an epic 5-day, 4-night retreat on Captiva Island in Florida. And thank goodness I just got an email from the people who run that house, and it's totally intact, you know, it's totally fine. But it's a beautiful house in the ocean. And my whole purpose of creating this is to bring powerhouse entrepreneurs together. And it's going to be part vacation, part work retreat, part mastermind, private coaching with me. So this isn't a pitch. Like, that's not my purpose of this workshop, but only because Anne asked about it. I'm happy to answer the question. And so yeah, so it's going to be amazing. And of course, you can private message me if you have any other questions about it. I'm happy to share what that looks like. But it's going to be epic. I cannot even wait. It's going to be so fun.
When is it?
What's that?
When is it?
So the actual group calls kick off in November, and then the actual experience is in February. And so this house, it's like a gorgeous house on the ocean, and we're going to have, you can choose between 2 sets of dates, because my team and I are going to be there for the full time. So the people who are coming get to choose from either February 17th through 21st or February 21st through the 25th, because we're going to kind of flip the house in the middle so we can accommodate a larger group. So it's going to be amazing. So yeah. So yeah, if you have any questions about it, let me know. Any other takeaways from our workshop today, or thoughts or anything?
It was just really helpful, and I got a lot clearer with my vision, and just having what are you gonna commit to today, even if that for me is like a big takeaway of something that I've been procrastinating on, doing the Facebook Lives. Like, I'll just do it. I'll just do it.
You know what, Laura? I kept thinking about Facebook Lives forever, and finally, the same thing. I was like, I'm just gonna do it, and then I just picked a date and a time and committed to it. You know, and just like every Thursday, now it's at 9 a.m., but every Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific, unless I'm traveling, I do my Chat with Amy Facebook Live. And it's not perfect. I'm still, you know, working on improving it, and it's all good. And I just last night at this fundraiser, there was a guy there who said, oh my gosh, I've been watching your Chat with Amy. He's like, it's so inspiring. Thank you for doing it. So again, being in service, like even though I don't have a huge group on it, it's been fantastic. So.
Great.
All right, well, I know we're a couple minutes over time, so I just want to take a moment and look at your beautiful faces and your names, and just, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here and spending this time together and with me, and allowing me to serve you in the areas that I'm so passionate about serving. And I hope this has been helpful for all of you, that you can take something away, even if you take one thing away from this whole experience that helps you really see what I know is your gift that is meant to be shared in this world. I just honor you and acknowledge each and every one of you for taking this time. Just the fact that you're here, even if you didn't speak up, it's totally fine. I want to acknowledge you as well. Just the fact that you're here tells me that you are invested in yourself and your dream, and there's something calling you forward. So I invite you to not hold back. We're not promised tomorrow. So life is now. And I'm excited to hear updates from you, whether it's through my phone or on Facebook, or I'll be looking for you online as well. And also, if we're not friends on Facebook yet, like I still have a little bit before my limit happens, so feel free to send me a personal friend request. It's just Amy Yamada. I mean, Roxanne knows. I know she's here that I love people. I love to connect with people. Like, genuinely, it's not just about business. It's about sheer connection and helping each other out any way that we can. So thank you again for being here. Sending much love to all of you from beautiful Kirkland, Washington. And yeah, join in on the Dream Life Entrepreneurs page if you want to keep the conversation going. And if this has been inspiring to you, I'd love for you to share what was your biggest takeaway on your own social media. It doesn't have to be about me, just you can even say, I was at a workshop today and this was my big takeaway. Like, it's just awesome to know that you were able to take something away from this experience together. So sending you so much love. I'm going to wrap this one up, and thank you again.
Thanks, Amy. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Sally.
Thank you. I'm just looking at your faces. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I'm going to just name some people. Alicia, Sally, Olga, Ashley, Rebecca, Ann, Heather, Lisa, Will, Bernard, Barbara, Melissa, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, Alan, Quay, Peter. Hey, Peter, I'm so happy to see you here. It's great to see your face. Ken, thank you so much for your support. I know you're being quiet and supporting me downstairs. Becca from my team, Linda, Mel, I know Susan was on earlier, Deanna, Wycene, Gina, Allie. Who else is still here? Look at you guys, so great. Let's see, Rebecca, I know some of these people I've already said, Gina, Wycene, okay. Everin, everybody, all these phone numbers, I don't know who you are, but thank you for being here. I just honor each and every one of you. So thank you and much love.
Bye.
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 Bye.